Okay, so I see that you've done your drawing and you've done your writing. Let's read it back together and see what it says, okay? So you wrote, a man came. When I see that word came, the picture I have in my head is of someone who is walking. Is that what you meant? Did you mean that there's a person in this picture that's walking? Because I don't see anyone that's walking. Oh, you're pointing to this person here. So if this person is here and he's walking, then both legs should be down here on the ground. Oh, he's not. Oh, this is the fellow over here that's on the motorcycle. Got it. Then I've got another idea. Over here where you wrote a man, we're going to take that idea out. And up here, since you said he's on the motorcycle, I'm going to write motorcyclist. Now I see the motorcyclist, and he's on his motorcycle. So he's definitely not walking. So let's change this word too, okay? So now we have a motorcyclist. And so that's from here down to there, the motorcyclist. And then what he's doing is you could say that he drove his motorcycle or that he rode on his motorcycle. So we're going to put a motorcyclist rode along, and then you have to see. And I'm kind of curious about why you wrote the to see here. Oh, you want to see what was going on at the street. But you said see. So that means that the motorcyclist is using his eyes to look with. So let's go back up here where your motorcyclist is, and let's take that idea and let's see what he is seeing. Okay, so he's not seeing what was going on. Instead, what he's seeing is, okay, a boy, and I see a boy and he's laying on the street. Okay, so this boy that's laying on the street, let's look at the picture over here. Show me which boy you're talking about. So you're talking about this boy. Now look at what you drew and look at the boy that's on the street. Do you see how he's got his legs on the street and his knees, but then his body bends up at his hips and he has both hands down on the street? So he's not, as you've drawn, laying on his back. He's actually, looks like he might be trying to get up off the ground. What do you think? And look over here next to him. See how there's a skateboard in the picture? I'm looking at what you've drawn, and I don't see that skateboard in the picture. So what we might want to do is, let's keep your guy right here, but we're going to take off these hands, and we're going to turn him around so that his hands can be pressing down on the street as he moves his knees to try to stand up. Okay? So now let's change your words to match the drawing. A motorcyclist rode along, and so it wouldn't be to see, it would be and sees, and then what does he see? That's right, he sees the boy. So if we have just the boy here, that matches what you've drawn. But again, look at the picture. See how there's a skateboard next to the boy? So that changes the name that we're going to use for that boy. We're going to say skateboarder. And if we write skateboarder here, then we're also going to need to draw that skateboard into the picture. Okay? So a motorcyclist rode along and sees a skateboarder. And then is the skateboarder, again, is he laying or is he trying to get up? Which way do you want to say that? Okay, or you could say he's fallen. Which one do you want? All right, and sees a skateboarder. Okay, we'll do it that way. Sees a skateboarder on the ground. Before we go any further, I want to show you something else. This word here that I didn't cross out yet, I want to talk to you about that word because I'm having trouble understanding what it is that you mean. So I'm going to put some boxes here, and I'm going to draw 4 boxes. Okay? And then I'm going to draw some pictures of meaning, and I want you to tell me which is the one that you mean here. So here's an idea 2. And when I write that word, the picture in my head has to do with someone who is going to a place. Like he's going to. There's another way to write to, and it looks like this. And that word has a meaning that looks like this, where you have 2 of something. Now there's 2 different ways to see pictures for the idea that you wrote. Sometimes when I see it written that way, it reminds me of a story of 2 people who have decided that they are going to go to the store and buy some ice cream. They're going to get an ice cream cone. And as they're leaving and walking along to get that ice cream cone, a 3rd person sees them, and that 3rd person says, I want to go too. I also want to go buy an ice cream. So this word too sometimes means also. Now, there's one other meaning for to, and we use this kind of to when you have more than you want of something. For example, we'll take this ice cream idea, and if you eat a half a cup of ice cream, then afterwards you feel just great. But instead, what if this bowl was this big and you had this many scoops of ice cream in that bowl? When you got done, you would feel and look like this. You would be holding your tummy and you would not feel very good, and your cheeks might be too full. And that means that you had too much of something. So when you wrote about a man came along to see, we have to write this in a way that it makes the picture that you wanted. And the picture that you wanted for here would be to take out this part of the idea and replace it with the picture of meaning that you want to see what was going on the street. But we've changed that now. So now we're going to cross that out. And let's read back what you have so far. A motorcyclist rode along and sees a skateboarder on the ground. But if we look again at this picture, he's not completely on the ground. So we're going to have to add one more idea. He sees a skateboarder on the ground, but what's he doing with his arms right here? Let's describe those arms. You want to say that he's trying to stand up. So if we want that, we can put in here who is right now trying. That means that he wants to stand up, but we're not sure he's going to be able to, because trying never happens. It's what you want to do, but it doesn't mean it happens. Who is trying to stand. So we're going to draw a picture here of that trying to stand, but since it's trying, we don't know if he's going to make it or not. Trying to stand up. And then let's take these ideas out for now. So we're not done yet. We need to take your drawing and match your drawing to this picture over here. Because in this picture, you have two boys who are using skateboards out in the street, and they're next to a ramp that's used for doing tricks with your skateboard. And over here, you've only drawn one of the boys. So what was this other boy doing while this boy was on the ground and the motorcyclist was looking at that boy? Yeah, he was standing, wasn't he? He's right here. He's nearby. And look, he bent his knee. That means that he's starting to walk to his friend because he's worried about what happened to his friend. So we're going to add a thought bubble that shows that he's thinking about his friend on the ground and is wondering if that friend is hurt or not. Did the friend hurt his back? Did his friend hurt his knee? Maybe his friend has pain in his hands. I don't know. And he doesn't know either until he walks over to his friend, and then he can ask. He can say, "Are you okay? Do you need help?"